presentation of AIT.
No, I just think that the conflict resolution and mediation programs are a vital part of, or can be a more vital part of our educational system. And I just hope that people recognize that by building those skills, I think that we can head off some major problems before they come to pass. And I've been in situations where students have come in with semi-automatic weapons, with knives and guns, and the kids that are frustrated and I think felt they had nowhere to go to resolve or release some of their anger and frustration. And maybe a mediation program, maybe some conflict resolution skills may have helped that kid. So I just think it can play a key role in the educational system.
Hello, I'm Melanie Jones of the University of Wisconsin at Madison. Welcome to our series on conflict resolution in the schools. In this half hour, we will look at peer mediation. Peer mediation is a program that provides students with opportunities to help one another settle disputes at school. Increasingly, schools across the country are implementing peer mediation programs. This involves getting a commitment which should extend to the Board of Education, training trainers to work with students, training students, informing the school community of the options available through peer mediation, and implementing the program. But before implementation occurs, a school must establish an environment where students and staff feel safe and comfortable. I spoke with Steve Ryan, principal of Whitewater Middle School, about how this can be accomplished.
4 years ago, we moved into this building, brand new ourselves. We brought in the 6th grade at the same time to join our 7th and 8th grade. So we had a luxury of starting a school with 2/3 of the students new to the school. With that luxury, we established our own way of dealing with discipline. And we felt that the best way to deal with pre-adolescent students is to deal with them on a very humanistic nature. At one time, the district had a step discipline program that if you cross this line, this would happen to you. And most people find that becomes a challenge for kids, and it almost becomes a reason to become a discipline problem. How far can you push the line? So we've taken the approach that students want to behave, students want to be part of the school, and so we set up a program where our discipline is more in support of the student as opposed to punishment. Punishment might have to be used once in a while to help correct a behavior, but our main goal is correcting the behavior. And we believe our students have accepted that. They know and we know that everybody's going to make a mistake, including the adults. And so rather than going around and punishing everybody for a mistake, our goal is to try to correct that mistake and try to make sure that it doesn't happen again and try to help kids understand how they can correct it themselves and how they can prevent it. Along with that, we made it very clear to our students that we want to have a school where they are comfortable, where they feel safe coming to school, and that certain behaviors are just absolutely non-negotiable, such as weapons in school, drugs and alcohol, tobacco, those sorts of things. We made it very clear that we will not tolerate that, and I would say 99.9% of the kids totally agreed with that. The first time we had an all-school assembly here at school, when we came into this building, we announced that. We said these are some areas where we will not negotiate. And you could almost hear the relief among the kids, knowing that this was a school that they could feel safe coming to. Obviously, with this age of students, there's going to be times when students will make those mistakes, and we have to help correct them. And in most cases, the other kids are very pleased that we do that. And in some cases, the kids even thank us for correcting their behavior. That's the attitude we want to express here.
As never before in our history, dealing with conflict is a reality to school administrators. And it's not just a matter of punishment. It has to be preventative too. One prevention program that Principal Steve Ryan discussed was peer mediation. Let's turn to Lisa and Harry Webney-Behrman for a more detailed explanation.
Peer mediation is a program where students are able to help other students resolve disputes at school. It's a process in which a third party, the peer mediator, assists two or more other students in finding solutions to conflicts they are facing. The peer mediator or co-mediators help by practicing the skills of conflict resolution, which include active listening, providing supportive ground rules, and creating an affirming environment. But the students in the dispute own the conflict, and they are responsible for the solutions. Peer mediators resist giving advice, relying instead on the process resulting in the students themselves finding solutions to their dilemma. Peer mediation is a voluntary process, perhaps recommended by the school, in which students freely come, or not, to their own agreements. And it is a confidential process which all discussions, except those related to potential harm to the students, remain among the students.
Peer mediation programs started in Wisconsin in the late 1980s in Racine, Milwaukee, and Waukesha counties. During the past decade, they have spread throughout the state and the country. Today, thousands of students from elementary through high school and college are involved in these highly successful projects. Peer mediators begin by introducing themselves, clarifying their roles in the mediation, and explaining the process. This stage is called the opening statement. This stage is very important, for it sets the tone for the entire mediation. Opening statements should be clear, concise, confident, and caring, demonstrating the mediator's true respect for those bringing their conflict to this place. Both disputants, the students in the conflict, then agree to basic ground rules that will govern the process. One person speaks at a time, no interruptions. We work together to try to find a solution, and we work to be as honest as possible. All agree to keep their discussion confidential, so long as issues that threaten to harm the students are not raised. After the ground rules have been established, the mediators try to understand the conflict, one person at a time. As each student explains what has happened and what he or she needs from the mediation, the peer mediators attempt to understand how that student feels. They restate what they have heard, asking clarifying questions as appropriate. After each student has had a turn, they are asked to restate to one another what they now understood to be the concerns of the other person. Finally, mediators summarize the issues and prepare to move to problem solving.
At this point, the disputants are ready to focus on problem solving. Taking one issue at a time, peer mediators lead them in this process. They attempt to brainstorm options about possible solutions, deferring judgments until several ideas are offered. Then, without taking sides, mediators ask the students if they feel any of the solutions might work. At first, ideas might be hard to come by, as neither side wants to give in. But with patience and respect demonstrated by the mediators, there is usually a break in the impasse, and a solution is found. It is critical here that mediators remain patient and calm, demonstrating openness, tolerance, and flexibility. After a short time, 5 or 10 minutes, for example, for young children, and up to a half hour for teens, a set of workable ideas emerges from the discussion. The mediators listen closely for these areas of agreement, then summarize what they have heard back to the disputants. At this point, they try to make sure that all of the key issues that were initially raised have been addressed. It is certainly better to resolve loose ends right now, while goodwill has been generated, than to realize later that the agreement had serious flaws. In drafting an agreement, peer mediators look for statements that the disputants feel are fair, balanced, realistic, specific enough, and likely to be helpful in the future.
At the close of the mediation, peer mediators review the agreement and check for any questions. Then they have each person sign the agreement form. They thank the disputants for their hard work and courage in dealing with the issues in this way. Finally, they clarify where the agreement will be kept and any follow-up that may need to happen with the advisor. Peer mediation results in successful negotiations over 90% of the time, with most of those agreements working out. Occasionally, difficulties arise if the process is not truly voluntary, where schools mandate participation, or if the program is not truly understood and supported by administrators or most faculty. However, students overwhelmingly find peer mediation to be a helpful way to open up channels of communication, especially in disputes among friends or others with ongoing relationships. Schools find it to be a valuable tool in the process of conflict resolution education, for it is direct application and practice of the skills we have been teaching.
While it should not be expected in itself to change school climate, a peer mediation program can be an integral component of the conflict resolution program. It provides a safe space to address meaningful issues in students' lives, and it teaches peer mediators valuable leadership and communication skills that may be applied to other settings.
Harry and Lisa have given us a panoramic view of peer mediation. They stress that peer mediation is only part of conflict resolution, not the whole program. Now let's watch a role play of a peer mediation session so that you'll be able to get a sense of how it might look and feel.
What are you doing?
What?
You want to talk about this project?
Man, what? Aren't you done with this yet, man? You been working on
I done with it?
a week.
No, he not been working on it for a week. What you been doing? Not a damn
Man.
thing.
Tell me
I
about-
gotta get an A on this for your information. I don't know
Look,
what
man.
you plan on getting. I'm sick of you being my partner.
Look, man, you act like
Get
you got
you.
good expectations.
Hi, welcome to Mediation. My name is Erin.
I'm Mike.
And your name is?
Portia.
And you are?
Justice.
We just want to thank you guys both for coming to mediation today. We're hoping that we can work through your problem and that you guys will be able to leave here with a solution.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the rules of mediation so you guys know like what you can do and what you can't do. Just make sure everything's okay. You guys can't interrupt each other. That's a major rule. So you guys can hear each other and know what's going on. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, tell her that.
Okay. Another rule is that you guys can't do anything that's gonna accelerate like the problem, make it worse.
Tell her that.
Okay? Don't do any name calling. Don't.
Tell him that.
I think you can hear me, and I think you guys can hear me, okay? Don't do anything that's gonna elevate the problem, okay? So no name talking, name calling, or anything like that, and no physical violence at all.
Okay. Is that okay with both you guys? So we can proceed?
Yep.
Okay, I'm just going to run through the process really quick, what we're going to do, just so you're familiar with what we're doing and what's going to come next. We're going to start by having uninterrupted time, where each of you will get a chance to tell your side of the story, and then we'll move into kind of the exchange where you guys can talk back and forth, and then we'll start to build the agreement. You guys can continue talking and start to come up with something that can solve your problem, and then finally we'll write down the agreement on the agreement form, and then we'll keep that on file. Do either of you guys have any questions before we start?
So does someone want to start then?
I will.
Is that okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. He's in my science class. We're supposed to be in partners, right? And I had to get a good grade on things because I had big expectations for my parents and stuff. And then we had 2 weeks to do it. He did not start on nothing. I did like half the project by myself, and all I did was ask him to help me so I can get this A. I have scholarships coming in. He's sitting there complaining about his job and all stuff. I got a job, and yet I can still get my homework done. And he's I come in the library, he's playing with some paper clips, talking about the whole thing of paper clips and some artistic abilities about it. I don't care. All I want is that project done. He wasn't doing nothing. I went to the teacher, asked him if I could get a new partner. He wouldn't set me up with a new partner.
So basically you're just saying that you're upset that you've been doing more of the project than he's been doing?
Yeah, we're supposed to be partners. We're supposed to get this A together. I ain't gonna sit there and do all of this so he can get a good get a good grade, and I did all the work.
What is she talking about? Look,
All right.
look.
Why don't
You
just
can't
wait?
interrupt. Excuse me. Thank you.
Yep, remember we talked about that at the beginning. No interrupting. You'll have your chance. Let's let her finish.
I thought she was done nagging. I mean talking. I'm sorry. Just kidding.
So is there anything else?
Nope. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Okay.
First of all, look, I got the paper, I got my book, I got a pencil, I sharpened it, I got the paper clips, and I was sitting there, I was waiting for you to get in there, but see, you were late for class, and I was on time, you know, I was had my priorities straight, I got to class on time, I was, you know, sitting there, I was brainstorming, I was waiting for you to get there. And yeah, I do got a job, you know, you act like, you know, teacher said, or Mr. Smith said that I was supposed to do it all that. He said he never said, Justice, today you are going to go to the library and do it yourself. No, he said both of us. So, you know, for you to come, I think it's entirely unfair for you to come in and just say that I wasn't doing anything just because I wasn't doing anything. I don't think that's right because, okay, you can go now.
Duh.
Okay, wait, so basically you're just saying that you feel like, well, you were waiting in the library for her to do something and you were planning on doing things together?
Well, basically, I don't think she's taking into account a lot of stuff that I got to take care of. I mean, she's right, I do got to work at night. I work a lot, you know. My dad's really been sick lately, and so I really haven't had time to really get in depth with this. I mean, I know personally, you know, from my, you know, background and experience doing this, that I can do these reports, you know. I mean, I don't know about her, you know, but getting an A on this report might not even necessarily be a real big priority. I mean, I'll be happy with a C or, you know, B or C, you know. And I mean, she never really asked me about that. She never really, you know, I don't think she takes into account that I got to do all this stuff at night, you know. That I got other things to do with, you know. She acts like this is my only class. I'm not like her, you know. I'm not naturally gifted.
Do you think you can tell us, like, how you think she feels? Can you describe what she's saying to you, like?
She basically said that I was lazy and that I wasn't doing anything. And I admit I haven't done a lot.
Okay, is that what you were saying?
Does he have it pretty much straight, the way you're feeling?
Yeah. I mean, I understand because I work too at nights and everything, but what I don't understand is that, okay, yeah, I got other classes too. Obviously, I have my other class, and I'm saying, he's sitting there talking about his C's or D's. I cannot get a C or D, okay? I got big priorities in life for myself, and as a partner, he should also respect me about my good grades, okay? Because I can help you get a better grade than a C or D, but you got to help me in return.
You ain't helping me nothing. Look, I'm not getting any help from you. All I'm getting is nagging.
Whatever. I've been
nagging.
doing half the work, and if you would just cooperate with me instead of just sit there, and if one, I was not late to class, I had a pass, and also I was behind there getting another book on the project we was working on. You were sitting there playing with some paper clips.
Okay.
You didn't have to wait for me. You could have got up on your own and started doing something. I don't have to tell you.
Look, we were supposed to
get up.
cooperatively and constructively organize this project in the beginning. You never came to me and said, okay, this is how we're going to do it. You just started doing stuff and just expecting me to go right with it. I mean, I'm not like that. You know, I can't just look at a project and say, okay, well, I have to do this in order for us to be successful. I can't look at it like that.
But you could have
come
came to me and said, hey, plan this out with me. I don't get it. You never came to me.
But see, did you ever ask?
See, I didn't know you were having that kind of problem. How am I supposed to know that you have a problem with doing projects?
It seems like we're kind of getting off the actual project here, and you guys are both talking about something that's, I mean, it's a little bit deeper than that. You're saying that you have problems with the projects in general. Is that, I'm a little bit confused about what you guys are going into there.
Well, kind of, but not really. A lot of it, most of it's my time, but I kind of don't understand it. But I don't know. I mean, I pick up real easy. You know, I'm a real quick learner. And so that's probably why I didn't really ask for help. I mean, maybe that's my fault, but, you know, I just figured that I'd pick up on it. Like I said, you know, usually I can do these reports, you know, usually do them like 2 days, and I pass. I mean, it's not like I fail.
Did you hear what Portia was saying about how she really needs an A in this class? I mean, can you understand why that's important to her?
Well, I understand that. You know, I'm not saying that she doesn't need an A. But at the same time, if she needed an A, don't you think, you know, she'd be more willing to help instead of willing to yell? Because that's all she does. She sits there and yells like she's my mother. Why aren't you doing your work? You sound like, well, all right. Bottom line is that I don't need to hear the yelling, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to hear her yelling at me every second of every day or every class about this report. You know, maybe she offered a little bit of help, or you know what I'm saying, or a little bit of questions or something. You know, maybe we could get it done a little bit faster, but you know, all she does is yell.
So you're feeling a little bit like pressured by her and kind of how she's, I don't think overpowering is the word, but kind of influencing you and telling you what to do, and you're not liking that, and you don't think that that's working in the group?
Basically, yeah.
So do you kind of understand what he's saying, where he's coming from?
Yeah, I do. But it's just, I'm getting so stressed about it. I mean, if he's really having that hard of a time, how come you never came to me and say, hey, look, I'm having some problems. I mean, I can always work out a schedule with you where we can go to the library together and work on it together. But you never said that.
What do you guys think that you can do that can solve this problem? I mean, I see that there's obviously the problem with the paper and getting that done on time, but it seems like you guys are getting pretty upset about the fact that you don't know what's going on with the other person. So what do you think that you guys can do so that, I mean, this doesn't happen again and you can get this project?
I think she should talk more. I think she should talk more instead of yelling. That's what I think she should do.
I can do that, but you have to come to me and tell me what your schedule is so we can work around it and work it together. And I think that you should go off on your own a little bit more and be able to get some information and come to me. We can compare notes together and put it all into one.
No, I don't know how to do that, man. I never really paid attention in class when they were telling us how to take notes, man.
Well, I can tell you.
Okay, well, why didn't you say that 2 weeks ago?
Because you weren't paying attention to me.
So do you guys basically, I mean, do you think that you can make some kind of agreement? I noticed that you both said that you said you wanted her to talk to you more, and you said you wanted him to talk to you more. Well, I mean, do you want to make some kind of agreement out of that?
I can do that.
Okay, I'm willing to try anything.
So do you think we can write that down as something that you guys can agree on, that you guys will try to communicate more?
Do you guys have, when do you have the report due?
In 2 days, I already have half of this. I have my notes done and half the layout done. But all I need him is to help me put it all together and get a little bit more information.
Are you guys going to have time to finish? Is there anything you can do with your teacher?
Well, I'm going to have to work tomorrow night. Tonight I have to work.
I can probably talk to the teacher and do that.
So does that sound good to you if she talks to the teacher and tells him your situation?
That's fine with me. Like I said, you know, anything that'll make her stop yelling, you know, as long as I'm stuck in this predicament, I might as well deal with it.
Okay. Well, so do you want me to write that down?
Sure.
Okay. So we'll write down that Portia will talk to, what's the teacher's name?
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith, about your situation and just let him know. Are you going to ask for an extension? Is that what you want?
At least till Monday, because I will have the weekend.
Okay.
If you can talk to your managers about some time off, that would be cool, too.
I'll have to work it all this weekend or tomorrow, so I'll be all good. But I still don't know how to take notes or nothing, so whatever.
Well, like I said, you and I can work on that together. We're partners.
I remember you said that when you're yelling. No,
Okay, so we'll write down that you'll ask for the extension till Monday. And should we also, I know before we had talked about more communication. Do you want me to write down that, where you guys will try to talk more?
Yeah, I definitely think she needs to talk more.
Okay.
What are you willing to do for her, though? I mean, it's kind of two-sided, like you have to meet in the middle somewhere. Portia has to talk more to you. What do you have to do?
I guess I could listen more. I guess that's the other half, so.
Is that what you want Justice to do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys will try to keep the lines of communication open, listening and both of you talking, so we'll write that down. Was there anything else that we missed writing down here?
Not that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Really?
Is that pretty good? You think that this will this will solve your problem? You'll be able to get your project done and work better together?
Sure.
Is that okay with you?
It's fine with me.
Okay, why don't you guys both read this over and sign it. Make sure that everything we've written down is okay and that it's covered what we've talked about.
Let me sign right here.
Yeah. Okay.
Just sign right there. Just right there. And we are going to have this in the office, and nobody else will be able to see it, but we'll have it locked up just in case you guys want to come back. If you're on another project or whatever, and you're having more problems, or you have more problems with this project and you need to come in, that's fine, you know. that'd be great if you guys come in so that there's not any physical problems or whatever.
Yeah, this will always be available. Feel free to come in and change it or whenever you need to. So thank you guys for coming to mediation. You guys did a great job.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for helping resolve the problem.
Thanks for coming in.
Good luck.
As you saw from the peer mediation session, peer mediation is a way for students to solve problems without adult interference, is voluntary, students who don't want to be helped don't come, is about non-life-threatening issues. If life threats come up, they must be reported. And finally, peer mediation is an excellent vehicle for teaching life-enhancing skills such as listening, summarizing, consensus seeking, arbitration, and teamwork. Ed Holmes, principal of Wright Middle School in Madison, puts peer mediation in a national perspective and conversely in a very personal perspective.
I think that the seriousness of the consequences have changed. I don't know if the seriousness, well, across the country, I think that there's been a heightened awareness about safety and violence in the schools because some of the traumatic situations or situations that have taken place in various cities. I mean, with the use of weapons and students bringing weapons onto school grounds, we have to look at, I think, preventative measures and developing problem-solving and coping skills with young people before they get to the point that they need to bring in weapons and deal with their problems in an aggressive and violent way. I think that having a strong mediation program in the schools and teaching kids how to resolve conflicts in a rational and in a way that is not going to lead to retaliation and physical violence is something that we need to be more proactive on in education.
And how do you be proactive as a principal?
As a principal, you develop peer mediation programs, you develop conflict resolution programs, you do retreats with students who you've identified as student leaders to take the lead on setting the tone and the climate in the school where they know that there is a structure or a system in place where they can go and resolve problems without having to resort to violence. And also understanding that there are disciplinary actions that have to be taken if the conflicts are not resolved and they escalate to the point where there is violence and there's disruption in the school. I think if you have a clear message about not only the disciplinary action but how to resolve problems, I think students will respond to that. And I don't know if they get clear messages about how to resolve problems in the schools.
In this half hour, we have tried to indicate the value of a peer mediation program embedded in a total conflict resolution effort. Like the quality of mercy, peer mediation is good for the supplicants as well as for the mediators. You won't always have teachers around to solve problems for you. And finally, as Ed indicated, the price of conflict in the schools is escalating for individuals, for schools, and for the community. Peer mediation is one way to help students learn some processes and some practices for solving their own problems. Thank you for being with us.